So we're going to make something beautiful for Thanksgiving. We are going to make a pumpkin cheesecake, but not with a graham cracker crust. We're going to make a nice oatmeal crust. Super delicious, absolutely gorgeous for this time of year. And we're going to serve it with a gorgeous rum caramel. Yes, that's right, a rum caramel. If you haven't had that before, trust me, you're going to love it. And we'll put a bit of whipped up cream on the side as well. So stay tuned for this one. I'm going to show you all the different tips and tricks to make sure you get a beautiful cheesecake. No cracks, hopefully. So stay tuned for this one. This one's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to start by making the pumpkin puree. I am using a kabocha squash, one of my favorites, super sweet. Start from the bottom like that. Put the knife in, get a heavy knife, work it down, and then just flip up the pumpkin and go around the back like that. And then you should be able to just crack it open. By all means, you can use canned pumpkin, not a problem, but I think it's good to make your own because you can always stock it in the freezer. Scrape out the seed, roast it for about an hour at 400 Fahrenheit. It should be nice and tender like this. Put it on another tray, let it cool down for a little while, and then scoop out the flesh. You can discard the skin. Then we're going to blitz this up with a gram each of ground cinnamon, ground ginger, and a good liberal grating of nutmeg. Put the lid back on, give it another blitz, and it should be nice and smooth. Put that aside and you have pumpkin puree for days. Now let's make our cheesecake base. We're going to need 3 cups or 300 grams of rolled oats, half a cup of all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of salt, and you're going to need a tablespoon of ground ginger and ground cinnamon. Blitz that all up until it's kind of semi-fine and then set that aside. That is the dry part of the biscuit base. Now in the bowl of a stand mixer, you're going to need 225 grams of softened unsalted butter, or 8 ounces, 35 grams of brown sugar and 65 grams of coconut sugar. Put the paddle on and beat this until it's nice and fluffy for about 4 minutes or so. You can have a cup of tea while you're waiting. Then you're going to put the dry ingredients in, mix it for a minute or two, scrape down the sides every now and again, and then your base is ready. Now you're going to have a little taste, of course, lovely. Put it on a lined baking sheet, spread it out first like this, and then get a nice fine spatula. And we're going to bake this for 20 minutes in total at 350. Get it flat and even as possible. For 10 minutes, grab a whisk and then break up the mixture just so everything gets a chance to be brown evenly throughout. Then get your spatula and flatten everything like this, and then put it back in for another 10 minutes. So after that 10 minutes, it should look like this. Lovely, golden brown, and absolutely delicious. By all means, you can use digestive biscuits or graham crackers and blitz that up, but it's nice to make your own. Put that into a food processor. You're going to blitz this up, and while the motor is running, pour in 3 tablespoons of melted butter. And that's going to give you a very nice texture to the final base. It should look like this when it is done. Absolutely delicious. Oops. Now you're going to spray a 9-inch springform cake pan. Optional step, but I recommend it. Make sure you get the bottom and the sides, and then put your biscuit base in. Use a measuring cup and flatten it out as best you can. Get it nice and even and go around the sides. Get it up as high as you can. This will help with the final cheesecake. Put that in your fridge for 20 minutes just to chill. Now we're going to make the filling. So you're going to need 680 grams of softened room temperature cream cheese. I've used Philadelphia, 100 grams of white sugar, and 150 grams of brown sugar. Put the paddle attachment on and blitz this up for a few minutes until it's nice and fluffy. Add 80 grams of Greek yogurt and about a teaspoon and a half of vanilla essence, and then 250 grams of that beautiful pumpkin puree. And then we're going to whisk our eggs in, a third at a time, scraping down as we go. Repeat this with the rest of the egg until it's all used up. Do not overwork it. Make sure your ingredients are at room temperature. This really helps, trust me. Okay, now take your filling, put this into your lined cheesecake mold, spread it out as best you can. If you've got any excess filling and it's going over, just don't put it all in. You can use it for something else. Put this on a sheet, bake it in a preheated oven at 350 Fahrenheit for 40 minutes. You know when it's done when it looks like this. There'll be a slight wobble. When you touch the center, it will spring back. Oh baby, that's going to be nice. Now leave that in the oven, turn the oven off, of course, slightly ajar until it cools down to room temperature. If you've done this right, there should be no cracks in your cheesecake, just like this. This is a beautiful feeling. Time for a dance. We got no cracks in cheesecake. We got no cracks in cheesecake. Okay, enough of that. Now we take a little picture for the gram, optional step, and then put some cling film or just cover it loosely, put it in the fridge to chill overnight. Now to make our caramel, put 240 grams of sugar in a heavy bottom pan with 80 grams of water. Stir it to dissolve the sugar and then just leave it on a medium heat and it's going to bubble and do its thing. You can stir it from time to time. Now you're going to look for a lovely golden color that's going to start to develop, so make sure you're watching this carefully. Keep it on that medium heat, and once you see the color starting to go like this, you can then start to think about turning off the heat like that, and it's going to develop. Take that off the heat, and then we're going to let that cool down for a minute or two before we whisk in 80 grams of unsalted butter.
Once that has incorporated through, then we're going to add in 120 mils of heavy cream. Mix that all through. It's going to splutter, so be careful, do not burn yourself. And this is the basis for a caramel sauce. Now at this stage you can leave it as it is. It's beautiful, it's glossy, but we're going to add in a couple of tablespoons of rum. You could add bourbon, whiskey, whatever you like. Mix it up, get creative, or leave it out. But for me, I think I'm going to add a cheeky little splash more. Be rude not to. Okay, and then we have a beautiful rum caramel sauce. Put that into a glass container, put it in your fridge, keeps there for months. Now to make the chantilly cream, we're going to whip up 200 mils of heavy cream, 2 tablespoons of icing sugar, and if you haven't got a fresh vanilla pod, just use a teaspoon of vanilla paste. You can use a stand mixer, but true Spartans are going to use a whisk. So come on, let's go, shake, 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 and there we go, nicely whipped. Set that aside. Now get your cheesecake out the fridge the next day, run a palette knife around the edges, lift off the ring, and behold, you have a beautiful, beautiful cheesecake. Just look at that beautiful thing. Just make sure you don't drop it. Oh, only kidding. Now, to get a clean cut, put your knife in some hot water, wipe off the blade, pick a center point, go down firmly, use your other hand and push through to get through the base. You can stabilize the cheesecake with your other hand like that, and then go through the other side. Now, this is a slice for 2, but I'm just cutting a big monster slice because I want to be greedy with this. Look at that gorgeous cheesecake. It cuts like a dream. Now we're going to cut off another slice and we are going to begin to plate this bad boy. Put it on your plate very nicely, add a nice dollop of your chantilly, and then lovingly pour on your rum caramel sauce. And there you have it, my friends. Thanksgiving pumpkin cheesecake with rum caramel sauce and chantilly cream that you can eat anytime during this festive season.
Holy F balls. This looks pretty amazing. Make your Thanksgiving dessert a little bit different this year. Go a little bit fancy if you want to. So trust me, your guests are going to love you for this one. Right, let's get into this. Let's see how she cuts. Look at that, just glides through. Look at the texture there. Try a bit of cheesecake on its own first. With that ginger oat base, it is so good. Now let's try it with a bit of the caramel sauce. I mean, come on. Just look at that. The rum is so good. It comes through, it's super nice, not too sweet. Everything's balanced. You got texture, you got a bit of acidity, sweetness, and that pure luxury from the caramel and the chantilly. Holy moly, this is really good. One of the best cheesecakes ever. So, if you like this kind of content, because I know I do, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you on the next one.